Hi, how's it going? This is Resident of Colorwood for YouTube. I'm here to talk a Halloween movie, and I don't talk Halloween too much anymore, but I love talking the movies, so I'm going to talk about Halloween H20. This is not one of my personal favorites, though I do enjoy the 1 through 8 sequels. H20 is a movie that has its issues for sure. Um, I'm going to get to the pros and cons of this movie, but I'm also going to talk about how, going into this movie, there are two movies in my life, literally two, that I had high expectation for. This is one. This is one of them. This was that movie, the first movie. Uh, because I had just seen Halloween 6. When I had saw Halloween 6 in theaters, I was so freaking excited. That movie blew me the hell away. Thank you, Daniel Ferris. Wherever, dude, not just because he gave me an interview, but man, what a story he wrote. That dude, a hell of a writer. Um, Shout out to him for sure. I wish he would have wrote Halloween H2O. Um, I really, really, really do. Um, but he didn't get to do he didn't get to do the next Halloween. Um, Somebody else did, Kevin Williamson, famously from Scream, and that's what this is. This is a Scream written movie, pretty much. This is H2O starts off really, really good. It starts off like a Halloween movie, fall looking town, and you have you open up with three deaths, with three murders. That Merrington Whittington dies, a familiar character from the first 2 movies, and then these two teenage kids, get killed. And you learn that Dr. Loomis had some file on Laurie Strode. Here you come to find out Laurie Strode had faked her death to get away from her brother, Michael Audrey Myers. The opening of this movie is fucking amazing, and I can't say enough of. And it's not that the rest of this movie is bad, it's just some of it is just like some of the psychology is there. That's what gets me about this movie. It's like this from a psychology standpoint, this movie is there. From a look standpoint, it's not. It does not feel like a fall movie. It's more of a summer Halloween movie. And that's sort of what pisses you off about this. Um, in every way, like the town was not decorated up for Halloween as much. I mean, a bit, but not much. There was no leaves on the ground. There was nothing. Um, I understand the school being that way because it's run by Carrie Tate / Laurie Strode. She doesn't like Halloween celebrated. That I get. But the town somewhat being that way. The town, the people in town dress up, but you'd figure the stores would be like decorated out for Halloween and all that stuff. No, not at all. And that's what's crazy about it. It's like, why? Why? Um, did I mind the CGI mask? I I don't understand why you would use CGI on a mask. I don't. I did not. You know, I didn't like the way that looked, and that's the only real part I hated during the Michael Myers sequences. I just thought that was a dumb idea. I don't know why that idea was used. I, if I had to guess, because keep in mind, they were talking about using CGI for Dr. Sam Loomis at the time. I don't know what that would have looked like, but if it would have looked like that mask, that would have sucked. But, but again, I don't understand why you would do a CGI Loomis unless you were going to, that's how you were going to do the character. I don't know. Or it was going to be his ghost or something. I don't know. So Loomis's ghost is going to talk to Michael. That'd have been interesting. But I just think CGIing the mask was dumb. There was also a plot in this movie. There was also, well, they had an idea there was going to be a copycat killer. Now, they didn't use that idea in this movie, and thank God they didn't, because the person they had in mind would not have made any sense. Um, so I talked about some of the movies, some of the cons that didn't happen. Let's get to the cons that did. The Mask, I hated. The town not looking fall, I hated. Um, I really, really wish they would have delved more into the psychological aspect of this movie because that was there. I mean, they did do a good job on the psychology, just not enough of it and not deep enough for it. For example, Laurie Strode would have hallucinated. If I would have been writing this shit, Laurie Strode would have hallucinated more, not less. Um, if John Tate would have been considering committing his mother, that's how bad of an alcoholic she is. That Laurie, because Laurie Strode herself in this movie had said as a character, Carrie Tate, that no program helped her. 12 steps, like she said, she tried everything to help her get over what she was ailing her, and nothing worked. Well, if nothing worked, your alcoholism would be way worse. It doesn't seem as bad as everybody makes it in this what it is in this movie. It's bad, but it's not that bad. No offense, I've seen worse. just saying, just saying, I've seen way worse. So I also think too, if Lori had been the one saying Michael, to her son, Michael's coming back, Michael's coming back. The one thing I wish they would have did this movie is kept all these students actually at Hillcrest Academy instead of giving the excuse of sending them all away. Because the higher the body count, I think, would have been the better. And then Michael's killing all these kids. Nobody can find Carrie Tate except for and John, starts to his own her own son starts to suspect her of her doing the killings because and the reason he would have suspected this is she keeps saying he keeps coming back. Their argument in town, he keeps thinking about that argument. They had an argument in town where he says, "You want to stay handcuffed to your dead brother? Be my guest." I think that line could have been used so well later on in the movie where John accuses his own mother of doing the murders. Would have been really edgy. Um, I do love Josh Hartnett's performance because they gave him a chance to shine next to Jamie Lee Curtis, unlike they did with Andy Matichak. Again, different writers though, different director. So I mean, I always give H2O a 7 out of 10. I give it the 2018 score. Its stalking is okay. It's not the greatest. 6 had great stalking in it. 5 did too. 4 was okay. The stalking in H2O is not great. The psychology in H2O is fucking awesome. Everyone talks about the end of this movie. I knew when I first saw this movie it wasn't over. But that's me. I also think that really what this movie suffers from is anniversary syndrome. This movie got made because of the anniversary of the original murders. That's why it was called Halloween H2O. And it sort of suffers from that too. It relies way too heavily on the 20 years anniversary of those murders and doesn't really talk. I mean, I'm not saying they're not talked about in this movie. They are, just not to the depth they should be. It's one thing for John Tate to know about them. John Tate's only reference to Michael Myers is we have a family member who gets dressed up and butchers people up on Halloween. That's his only reference to his uncle. That's it. He doesn't talk about what his mother told him at all. I love Josh Hartnett's character, but I also understand why they did this because he wants to move on from it. But I do think there should have been that moment where, I just want to move on with my life. My mother just wants to, stay, as he put it, stay handcuffed to her dead brother. Sort of repeat the line, but to somebody else, like to his girlfriend, and say what his mother told him happened. And his girlfriend, like, she can't let it go. No, she can't let it go, and have that conversation. They don't have John Tate talk about it at all, like to the depth that he should. Now he wasn't there either, so maybe that's another reason, and he just doesn't want to bring it up. I think that's another reason though too. Again, I don't love H20. I love me some Halloween Resurrection. That movie was fucking awesome because I had no expectation of that movie going in, and I was shocked at that movie. Uh, H2 did not shock me. The psychology, again, from a psychological standpoint, everything is there. It's just a lot of other things are missing in that movie that need to be there. There's some good scary moments in that movie, but unfortunately, it doesn't live up to my radar. 7 out of 10. If you want to go see Halloween H2O, go watch it. I own it on DVD. I watch it every Halloween. You guys have a great, yeah, Halloween H2O. Yeah, see, have a good night.